Single-player games come in all shapes and sizes, from minuscule indie titles to sprawling 40-plus hour epics. As personal a choice it is to decide whether another playthrough will bring the same enjoyment, the single-player games on this rundown certainly prove that replayability isn't always a prerequisite to amazingness. A game doesn't have to have an endgame or New Game Plus to be good. Some games stand on the strength of their own narrative and puzzle designs, even if the effect is lessened second time around. Death Stranding. Kojima Productions' Death Stranding is a masterclass in environmental storytelling. Its mysterious narrative slowly unfurling with every cargo successfully delivered and every isolated colony reconnected. Assuming command of intrepid courier Sam Bridges, players embark on a voyage across cataclysmic USA, literally and figuratively building bridges between communities isolated following apocalyptic catastrophe, dodging otherworldly effigies and pesky bandits looking to pilfer Sam's loot along the way. The game's campaign is roughly 40 hours, and once the credits roll there are extra deliveries to make, but nothing meaty in terms of endgame story content. So no, Death Stranding's rugged landscapes and widescreen cinematography can be fully absorbed in one playthrough. Journey. Heralded as one of the most artistic gaming experiences of all time, that game company's Journey, a game now a decade old, somberly captures feelings of insignificance and wonderment unsurpassed by any other game since its release. Gameplay-wise, Journey is a simple affair. Players guide a robed figure through vast deserts towards a climactic icy mountaintop, communicating with other travelers along the way via delightfully musical chime. Journey's effortless controls leave space to focus on its stellar visuals and masterful audio, with Austin Wintory's soundtrack playfully weaving motifs and instruments into a musical tapestry that embellishes the robed figure's flotations. Really, not having a PlayStation, PC, or iPhone are the only excuses to having not trekked through Journey yet. Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds casts players as an unnamed astronaut on a mission to boldly explore the fringes of a delightful microgalaxy, populated by sand-timer planet siblings, black holes, and fog-strewn thorny voids, uncovering as many ancient secrets as they can within a 22-minute time loop, their voyage resetting when the solar system's central star goes supernova. The point of Outer Wilds is to revel in the joys of discovery, for whilst every nook of its imaginative worlds is accessible from the very first blast off into space, careful exploration and knowledge gathering are key to unraveling the mystery at the heart of the Outer Wilds' exploding star. Inside. Playdead's 2016 puzzle platformer garnered heaps of praise upon release for its surreal monochromatic setting, an ambient video game soundtracked by muffled footsteps and unwavering dread. The ending, if you've gotten there, is mind-expanding, asking questions of player agency, mind control, paranoia, and free will. In short, it's a surprising turn of events. The impact of Inside's climax can't be replicated during a second playthrough. Whilst discussion on the game's ending consistently crops up in features like this, special mention must go to the shockwave section encountered midway through. The build-up, the tension, and the way the game's soundtrack perfectly aligns with the environment's mysteriously violent pulse is one of the most memorable moments in gaming. What remains of Edith Finch? Returning to her family home in the Pacific Northwest, the eponymous Edith Finch visits the shut-off rooms of her deceased family members, each sealed away and kept as a time capsule in honor of their memory. As Edith explores their rooms, she'll enter a unique gameplay sequence tied to the departed's final moments, as seen through their eyes. Each flashback is a beautiful rendition of her family's tragic, untimely passing. Edith's goal is to investigate whether there is indeed a Finch family curse, or if there's a culprit who Edith can point the finger at. Prepare for an emotionally charged experience, filled with childlike innocence and wonder, a high watermark in the debate as to whether video games can be thought of as art. Control. The composite elements of Control are well worn. Paranormal conspiracies, imposing government architecture, a corrupted hostile force. But the way in which Remedy Entertainment melds these tropes into a wholly unique experience is Control's defining feature. The paranormal happenstance, violating the laws of reality and imbuing itself on everyday objects, are woefully misunderstood by the game's Federal Bureau of Control. Their headquarters are a shape-shifting labyrinth of office blocks and concrete. Their enemy, the Hiss, can only be fought via utilizing mysterious powerful abilities obtained from an alternate dimension. Put simply, Control is fascinating and exciting, and whilst this is opinion, it's well worth collecting as many redacted documents on the FBC's paranormal cover-ups as possible throughout the first playthrough. Remedy's dedication to world-building is second to none. Firewatch. In Firewatch, players assume control of Henry, who, after turning his back on the struggles at home, becomes a fire lookout at a beautifully picturesque national park. Despite an extremely short 4-hour runtime, Henry manages to squeeze in a blossoming relationship with fellow lookout Delilah while exploring a woodland laced with peculiar tales of missing hikers, sabotage, and strange encounters with other unseen ramblers hanging out in the woodland. He finds answers, but they circumvent expectations. Don't listen to Firewatch's detractors. Sure, its ending might not deliver immediate satisfaction, but its themes are realistic and relatable. HELLBLADE: SENUA'S Sacrifice.
There's no going back.
You can't do it.
Senua pushes away a world that conspired to cause so much suffering.
Picked warrior Senua must overcome overt otherworldly threats and conquer the voices in her head, themselves symptoms of psychosis, whilst voyaging to Helheim to rescue the soul of her dead lover. Developer Ninja Theory worked closely with neuroscientists to properly represent Senua's psychosis, with the end results being one of the most applauded aspects of a game already deep in tense atmosphere, phenomenal sound, and artistic direction. The only downside, maybe, is the predominance of puzzles, which means there's little chance of repeating the eureka moments come a second playthrough. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Exquisite fantasy adventure Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons harnesses a uniquely immersive gameplay mechanic at its core. Both brothers can be controlled simultaneously, twin stick style. Setting forth on an arduous journey to recover the water of life, evading orcs and scaling rooftops together to cure their ailing father, the brothers rely on each other to survive. However, controlling both siblings at the same time never feels overly tricky or cumbersome. Instead, solving the game's puzzles is surprisingly intuitive, which is just as well, but it's the brotherly bond at the heart of Two Sons' narrative that shines brightest. Soma. Existential first-person horror Soma takes place inside an underwater research facility through the eyes of fish-out-of-water Simon Jarrett. Unsure of how his predicament aboard the facility, players assume control of Simon as he sneaks through dimly lit corridors, encountering cerebral robots and stealthily evading biotechnological monsters. The best bits of Soma's 10 or so hour story lie away from monster aversion, though. The game's tactile exploration and hands-on puzzle solving are supported by rafts of intriguing collectibles and audio diaries, fleshing out an already detailed underwater world. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request before we conclude though. We upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.